Okay, so if we're going to solve this system, it's a little bit crazy because we have 3 equations now, which is really different than what you guys have seen, but it's all the same skills you guys have been using. This is a pretty easy one because you can see, let me grab, which one? Here, this is going to make this a lot easier. So we're going to start the same way we would do any other equation, and we're going to try to get rid of one of our variables. So we're going to match up these 2 guys right here. So I'm going to rewrite this here. And you guys can copy along with me if you want. And I'm going to combine these. And you guys can see that right here, these 2 are already matching and they're already opposite. So they're going to go away and we're just going to combine them just like we would if it was 2 variables. So when I combine those, I'm going to have a 6x and a negative 2y equals a negative 16. So I dealt with that equation. Whoa, what just happened there? Hang on. Okay, there we go. That's what I wanted. So I'm just going to take this guy, save it for later. Now I have to do that same step again, only this time I'm going to combine this guy here with this guy here. And since this is still a pretty easy example, I'm not going to have to change anything because those variables already match. And you guys can imagine that eventually it's going to get harder and you're going to have to multiply stuff, but you guys can handle that when we get there. So I can combine those here. You guys will notice these are already opposites, so I can go ahead and combine those because they're going to drop out. So I'm going to have an 8x minus y. Those guys are gone, and that's going to give me a negative 23. So you can probably picture we wanted the z's to drop out in both of them. So that now we have 2 equations here that look totally normal, and now I've got a normal system that you guys are used to from a long time ago. So you guys can see here that this looks super normal, and you're going to know what to do with it. So I'm going to set these guys off to the side, and now we're just going to deal with this guy right here. So I'm guessing most of you guys at this point are going to want to take this guy right here and multiply it by negative 2. So I'm going to take this guy and multiply it by negative 2. So I'm going to keep the top one the same. And you can go a different direction, but I just feel like this is the direction most of you guys are going to want to go. Whoops. All right. That's not what I wanted. That's all right. Okay. So here you guys can see now we've got this simple equation here that I can combine. So, oops, I forgot the x there. All right. So when I combine these, I'm going to get negative 10x. These guys right here are gone. I'm going to have negative 10x equals 30. I'm going to divide both sides by negative 10 and get x equals negative 3. Yay. Okay. So here we did all this work. So we're partway done with our equation. So what we're going to do is we're going to push this guy out of the way. I'm going to push that guy out of the way. All right. So what we're going to do now is we're going to take this guy here, this x equals negative 3, and we're going to plug him back in to one of these 2 equations. okay? All right, so we're going to plug those in, okay? All right, and we're going to take this here, and I'm going to plug it into either one of those. Doesn't matter which one. So I'm going to plug it in here to the 6x minus 2y equals the negative 16. So I'm going to have 6 times negative 3 minus 2y. So that's going to give me negative 18 minus 2y equals negative 16. I'm going to add 18 to both sides. And that's going to give me negative 2y equals 2. So that's going to give me y equals negative 1. So now we are super close. We've got our x equals negative 3, our y equals negative 1. All we have to do now is solve for z. So we can take any of that. We can take both of those guys, this guy here and this guy here, and plug them into any one of these equations to solve for our final answer. So I'm going to pick the top one. So I'm going to have 4x minus 3y plus 4z equals negative 9. And I'm going to plug in my x, which was negative 3, minus 3 times my y, which is negative 1. And that gives me 4z. So I'm going to have negative 12 plus 3 plus 4z equals negative 9. So that's going to give me here 9 plus 4z equals negative 9. What's wrong here? Let's see. 12 plus 3. So something's wrong here. Oh, yeah. It's a negative 9. There we go. All right, so I'm going to add 9 to both sides. And I get 4z equals 0. So I get z equals 0. And then you guys have never seen this before, but what's going to be crazy here is that your answer is going to look kind of like a ordered pair, but it's going to look kind of crazy. So the x is going to come first. We're going to have negative 3. The y is going to come next, only now we're going to have a z, and that's going to be last, and that's going to be your final answer. So it's basically just like a system on crack. Okay, it's just a little bit crazier. It's got a lot more steps, but it's all the same skills you guys have already seen. And you can handle it. If there's an A, B, and a C, it's no different. And you can still write your answer out like this. Just put your answers in order like this. Or if you really wanted to, you could write it like this and put fancy brackets. So any way you want to do it is cool by me, but this way here is probably the fanciest way you can do it and the way that I prefer. So either way is good, but that's how you're going to do it.